Angry guy here, and today we're discussing why millennials are doing anything for money, broke and desperate. Generation Y news. Yep. So, yeah, millennials are doing anything for money. They are broke and desperate, and this is Generation Y news. So millennials are really suffering right now, and you don't have to take my word for it. There are articles out there that basically illustrate just how badly things are going for millennials. To top that off, you also have videos popping up from channels like Mr. Beast, which I love Mr. Beast. I love his content. He's a viral genius, but you've got videos popping up from numerous different channels where you have millennials doing almost anything. Like there was one video that he did, and I actually covered it, where millennials sat in a in the world's largest cereal bowl for many hours on end and came out smelling like urine. Really bad. They sat in their own urine for hours on end happily. I mean, this is just one of the many extreme challenges that the millennials are doing in hopes of getting money or viral fame, which then could potentially lead them to money. The thing is that you're also seeing really bad situations with, for example, millennials in higher level fields. Right now, you have a lot of I keep talking about it. You have a lot of millennial doctors that are establishing large social media presences, and they are more focused on social media than they are on being physicians, and it's a serious problem right now. Let's Let's go ahead and illustrate this further. Millennials are really suffering, but now they're saying, oh, that's not the baby boomers' fault. It is. It is. It absolutely is their fault. As the age profile of Republican voters has risen, a certain note of complaint about young people has become a more prominent part of conservative conversation. Why are millennials so entitled and socialist? Maybe they should be quit. Maybe they should quit buying so much avocado toast and pay down their student loans instead. So it's refreshing to read a book by a far-right center author who takes the side of the generation born from 1981 through 1996. The millennials aren't whiners, Wall Street Journal editor Joseph Sternberg writes in The Theft of a Decade. They have legitimate complaints about economic trends that have hit them particularly hard. And people in the middle of that generation reached adulthood just as the economy fell into the most severe recession since the Great Depression. That recession was followed by a disappointingly slow recovery. Sternberg notes that the effects of entering the labor force in a weak economy are not transitory. Lifetime earnings are measurably lower. Compounding that problem, millennials also have higher levels of debt from colleges than their elders did. Sternberg discussion of the issue is thought and nuanced. Eye-popping debt loads of six figures are common, he points out, and often held by people who are well positioned to pay them off. Over time. His concern is rather for students who borrowed only $15,000 a degree for a degree they thought they would yield a higher paying job, but who either weren't able to complete the degree or discovered they misjudged how the labor market would reward their education. Guys, this is all nonsense. I'm just going to basically put it out there. You're seeing this happening right now. You're seeing the millennials basically doing absolutely anything in hopes of making money as the economy is taking a massive downturn. And here at RT, notice yawn, notice me senpai, notice me re. Okay, our weaponized autism is in the chat. Gen Z will eat y'all for breakfast. Poke, I am chat. Re, oh my gosh, I'm the only one watching. Notice me, senpai. Notice me, senpai. Angry, I'm literally the only one in chat. Notice me, senpai. Okay, yeah, I think I noticed you. I think I noticed you. All right. You wonder why. People wonder why why millennials are so socialist, and then you look at the way that they were raised and the society that we have right now. I keep on telling you guys that the universal basic income is something that millennials are basically going to be pushing for. But the UBI is only going to trap people it's going to trap people in poverty for the rest of their lives. But no one wants to actually listen. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Let's go and get that awesome UBI. And I'm like, it's not what you think it is. It's gonna trap you in a cycle of poverty. But hey, do what makes you happy. What makes you happy? All right, do what makes you happy. One thing that keeps me solid, thank God, God is there for me. I like, buying crypto makes me feel like I'm actually doing something, especially as like 7,200 stores are closing this year. And the yield curve is signaling very strong indicators that we are in a recession, which is interesting because the last one never ended. And then the Feds came out and said, the yield curve doesn't prove necessarily that we're definitely in a recession. The yield curve has been the best indicator of a recession ever. Okay, it's had almost a perfect run. And there's so many other things happening. Mass store closures. Retail is crashing, despite the fact that we have a 3.6 unemployment rate. Retail is crashing right now. Come on. We have the lowest male job market participation rate in history, like going back to like the 1950s. It's insane. There's so few men in the workforce, specifically millennial men right now, that it's absolutely madness. Many of them have just given up on ever looking for work and just live with their parents. Guys, I don't know what people are thinking right now. Like I said, like this generation, we're not having children. We're just pretty much over, like we're the over generation. We're not having kids. We're not doing anything. Simon says, not so fast. Sleeping Elephant says, notice hashtag me too. And then RT goes, nah, guys, I'm special. I'm in a good mood from getting noticed. So RT says he's in a good mood from getting noticed. Oh my gosh. Thanks, that made my week. Oh gosh. Dupree Latimore says, he says he knows whose fault it is. Mr. Imperfection says society needs a reset. There's this show called show on, it used to be on Sci-Fi, I think, and then it was picked up by Amazon when it got canceled. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it was a sci-fi show, and it takes place like maybe a couple hundred years from our time, or 100 years or 200 years from now. And in the show, something very interesting happens. Most of the world's population are unemployed. There's basically just not enough jobs and just not enough opportunity for people anymore. All right? And a lot of people live off, I think they said maybe the majority of the world's population live off basically a universal basic income. And and do you know where the people receiving that universal basic income live? They live in sewers. All right? People receiving the universal basic income in this time, and that's most of the population, they live in the sewers. Okay? That's where they're living. They're living in the sewers. They get their UBI and they live in the sewers. And that is the utter direction that we are headed into right now. Okay, and a lot of people are going to take the UBI. I'm telling you right now, they'll give you just enough to survive, just enough to barely survive, but not enough to do anything else. Okay? You'll have a lot of people who are homeless, all right, or nearing homelessness on the UBI. You'll have people who will be stuck in that cycle of poverty for the rest of their lives. Okay? It is going to completely divide the country and potentially divide the world the more countries that begin applying it. And, they're going to say that, oh, the UBI has lifted all these people out of poverty. No, it's trapped all these people in a cycle of poverty. Okay? That's another thing. I'm just telling you right off the bat, do not accept the UBI. Don't do it. Do not accept the UBI because it will trap you for the rest of your life. Dupree says homelessness in LA is getting worse. Archie says he'll never take the UBI. Mr. Imperfection says, I wonder if So 4 being made because of it. SOR 4? Archie says he wants to be an economist. We got 3 likes and 1 dislike. Guys, someone disliked the video. They're like, don't you dare speak poorly of the UBI. Don't you dare speak poorly of the UBI. I need the UBI. I need the UBI. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I remember this chick, we got into an argument once and we were so cool, but then we started talking about, I didn't know that she was so totally a fan of the UBI, and basically once I started disagreeing with her, she sent some simps after me to harass me on social media because I didn't support the concept of a UBI. And I mean, I didn't realize how many people are literally into the whole UBI thing. Okay, that's what you want, huh? And who's going to pay for, and basically, her belief is that food, healthcare, I think she said food, healthcare, clothing, what else was there? It should all be provided by the government. Food, healthcare, and clothing should all be provided by the government. That was her belief. And I'm thinking to myself, really? The government should provide you with food, healthcare, and clothing. So basically, they should be providing you with all of your needs. Guys, don't forget that you can head over to cryptomoney.academy. We still have the flash sale going for another 7.5 hours. And the course that I just put out for you guys is called How to Time the Crypto Market and Make Massive Profit. This course goes for $199, but you can pick it up for $99.99 right now. The links are in the description of the video. And with that course, you're going to learn how to time the crypto market to make massive profit, spot the key factors that indicate crypto market behavior that will allow you to make massive profit. It's a very, very, and we provide you with all the resources, a stunning amount of resources, for example, that will actually help you to determine how to time it so that you can take $100 and turn it into $10,000 in a very short period of time. So this course is $199, but you can still pick it up for the next 7 hours for $99.99. Guys, I'm telling you, right now, you have to be on top of your game. You cannot, don't sit around and just think that the world is going to sort itself out, because right now, the can has been kicked so far down the road for so long that we're looking at a major correction. And a lot of people may not end up surviving this shift. But I want to know what you guys think about that. Like I said, links are in the description of the video. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and subscribe, like the video, love God, get money, and shares. Let's talk more about it in the comments what you think about all of this. Are you surprised millennials are doing almost anything for money and are just really broke and desperate right now? Let me know what you think. See you in the comments.